So we start out each one of these episodes like we don't know what we're doing. Obviously, we know what we're doing. We're on like episode 16 or 17. It's getting crazy. I'm losing count. The Not an Accident podcast. And I got a special treat for you guys. We've been trying to get these gentlemen on for quite a while. They are two very, very busy young men. And we finally landed them. So we have from GenTechMarketing, we got Christianjamal, and we have Amel IG. Did I pronounce that correct? Close enough? No, I completely butchered it. So,
all good.
But well, we're gonna have all their contact in the bio, and I already made my first blunder of the podcast. But regardless, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us, man.
So we're gonna get right into it. Tell us about GenTech, how you guys started, how you guys came together. Give us the background of everything.
For sure. So GenTech was actually founded by Amel, and I came onto the scene about, what would you say, like a year later?
Yeah.
So basically I was running my own agency. Amel was running his own agency. COVID hit. We both went back down to zero, no clients, nothing. I was on hashtag Tampa Business, and I saw this really tall dude sitting on a gold I-8, and I was like, this guy is an
perfect
asshole, 100%,
yeah.
but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me hit him up, and we grabbed coffee, and that was
He didn't try to sell you a course? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
that's usually how. Listen, I'll meet with you, man, but you got to buy my course
100%.
first. No. That's the supreme tier level as far as meeting one-to-one. So that's awesome. So you guys just kind of came together organically. We're kind of doing the same thing, and then so how? That's very interesting. Talk about that navigating online marketing, and that's what you guys do is paid ads. That's what you guys specialize in. How are you navigating through that during COVID? Because I imagine at some point it blew up with everybody being at home, like meaning expanded exponentially.
I mean, with COVID, like people realize that you have to put things online. Everyone's like dependent on just like people walking in, word of mouth, stuff like that. But if you don't have an online presence, when the market shifts, you go out of business. And even with us, like we were like, okay, we're doing good. COVID hit, we went like down literally to almost zero. And after that, we're like, we got to be too big to fail. And I think that's been a motto like ever since. Build so many streams of generating leads and clients and word of mouth and like online marketing so that even if there are market shifts, you're good. Because what happens is like the market doesn't like disappear. It just shifts over to another company, and usually the big companies take over. I think if anything, I don't think it changed marketing. It changed our mindset when it comes to business.
Tell me, and I'm going to get right into the dirt, into the drama. So obviously there's a lot of agencies out there, and you see a lot of, paid ads, no pun intended, and things like that, and Instagram advertisements. How do you go about picking an agency that's going to perform for you? Is there any like red flags or anything that you could kind of give our audience some tips on?
So
other than calling GenTech, of course.
Yeah. The messed up part about the agency space is that the barrier of entry is super low. So technically, yes, you went to law school, but tomorrow morning you could wake up and say you run paid ads. You can wake up and say you do SEO. First of all, there's AI softwares that do all of that for you. So even if you don't want to learn the skill, you can still sell the skill. And if you do want to learn the skill, then you can also obviously sell it as well. Now, the biggest red flags are the people that come to you and say, hey, trust me, I'm a good guy. That, like the equivalent of that. The only thing I tell people is when you're interviewing agencies, ask about case studies, because that's the only thing that matters. What have you done before, right? And I know it's kind of unfair to newer players in the game, because how are you going to get the experience if you don't have the opportunity to do that? But it is what it is. That's literally the market that we're in. Like, if you want to get good results with the least chance of failure, you need to have someone that has case studies. That's number one. And number two, you need to have someone that has like a legitimate team. So 90% of the agencies you see, even here in Tampa, they outsource all their paid ads to overseas. And nothing's wrong with overseas, but if you don't control the operations overseas, that's the problem. Like the comparison with us is we have an office in Tampa. Yes, we have an office in Guatemala. Yes, we have an office in Bosnia, but that's not like a singular individual working at home, like 90% of other people. Like we literally have an actual office that we go to every 3 months. We have a team there. They're all working full-time at the office. So when you're working with someone who's controlling the environment, you get to set proper expectations on when the results are going to come in. Because most people are going to be like, oh, like money back guarantee. That's a scammer, 100%. Or they say, oh, it's going to work for sure in 3 months, guaranteed. That's also a scammer. Like anybody saying those words or setting you a timeline that is not possible unless you perform on your end, that's the biggest red flag. Like with us, like we tell people straight up, hey, listen, like if we don't have a case study in their space, we tell them straight up, like, hey, listen, we might not be the best fit.
Mm-hmm.
You know
you just let them know from the get-go. And one of the things that I really appreciated you saying before we were having kind of a preliminary talks and about how you were allocating the budget, because there's only so much money to go around. So I thought it was very interesting that you guys kind of focus more in Meta, Facebook, of course, and Instagram than you do in Google ads, because you said a lot of times they perform better. So can you kind of talk to us about that?
The good thing with like Meta is that there's a lot more targeting that we can do. And there's a lot more data that we can collect and fine tune the process. With Google, it's good, but like you can't go down that deep. Usually when people come to us, they're like, hey, my clients are on Google. Cool, but like if you give me $1 and I make you $3 on Google versus $5 on Meta, do you care where your clients are? Because your clients are on Meta too, right? And this is just like millions and millions that we spend with our clients. Like we have the data that we can showcase. So if someone comes to us and they're like, hey, like I just want you to run Google, like we can do it, but just so you know, you're not going to get the best results. In 2 months, you're going to tell me, hey, I'm not getting the best results, and we're going to shift over to Meta. So like even with our clients, sometimes we have to have this battle. But at the end of the day, like our job is to get our clients the highest ROI. It's not to just run ads, because anyone can run ads. Like you can run your own ads. You can boost your posts, and technically that's an ad.
One of the things that I see, and I would defer to you guys, is that Reels and Shorts often perform better and get more eyes than just standalone picture ads and things like that. How would you suggest somebody that's not very confident on camera to get better at creating these ads? And obviously, I know you guys probably have a team that walks them through that and such, but how would you tell them to get more comfortable on camera? If you want to make money, you need to get more comfortable?
So, I mean, there's so many ways to optimize the editing where even if you're screwing up and you have to say every word repeatedly, like, okay, I said one word and I screwed up, and then I said the other word and I screwed up. Like our editing team is so good at like mixing up the video where like it looks smooth. But most of the time, like people know what they need to talk about. A lot of times what we do is if we need a video, we'll do like a setup podcast like this. We'll post the camera over there. We'll talk like this and it'll be a natural conversation. We use that clip as an ad where they don't get the fear of the camera being in their face. But surprisingly enough, even some photo like ads are doing well now, because at the end of the day, like the markets shift. Like Reels have been popular for how long now? Like probably two or three years.
Yeah.
So whatever everyone is doing, usually the opposite is working at that time, because like there's usually trends, right? And then when everyone switches to photos, then Reels will come back. So to answer your question, there's a lot of ways to do it. I think the best option is just setting up a podcast like this and recording those videos.
Long form into short form is probably it definitely makes my life way easier, because I have this long video that I can consistently pull from. And I mean, by the end of this video, we should easily be able to pull, 12 to 15 clips on a bad day as far as content. So I love long form to short form. And I think it is much harder to record though. I will say that. So, because there's a lot of prep that goes into this and researching guests and things. So it's a blessing and a curse. And I do still do both. So tell me about how do you maintain expectations? We kind of touched on that earlier, and that's a huge thing across all industries. So, but especially yours, I'm sure. How do you maintain expectations with especially small business owners and things like that?
So our target market is not small business owners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was one of the things that made it easier to set expectations. So when we stopped targeting,
because if you're spending $5,000 or $10,000 a month, it's like, okay, I can ride the wave more or less.
Exactly. And like our ideal client is doing between $1 and $4 million a month, and they're typically in lead generation specific business. So we don't really like e-commerce as much. We don't like smaller businesses that much. Now, we do have small businesses that have been clients with us for years and years and years that we still work with, but we're not like ongoing reaching out to smaller businesses, because we realize that our skill set is, number one, more fit for the bigger clients. And number two, we are able to reach our goals as a business with the bigger clients much faster. And we have much more badass case studies with our bigger clients that even if we decide to target the smaller market, they're like, oh my God, they helped X person make $3 million a month. I can obviously make $50,000 a month with them. or example. You know what I mean? So that's the reason we wanted to shift out of the smaller business market. And with the bigger guys, it's much easier to set expectations because they, as a business owner, also have to set expectations with their people so they understand where we're coming from. So if we tell them, hey, listen, this is going to take 18 months, you're trying to do like something crazy that's never been done in your space, they're not going to reach out the very next day and be like, hey, Christian, I don't have an ROI yet, which is like the biggest thing. When you get that sentence, that's how you know you set wrong expectations.
To your point, and we mentioned our good buddy Christian Dion, shout out to the homie, and he was, when we originally had our call, he does my SEO for my company, and he was like, hey, listen, and I go, you don't even have to say it. I said, I'm not even expecting a result for at least 3 to 6 months. And we did have some great strides in between then, but I was like, I'm not even remotely concerned until we're at least 6 months into this. And I think if people, and you'll probably find that with more educated business owners as well that are doing that type of volume, when you're having the conversation and you're like, listen, probably don't expect anything for X amount of time. And if we do get lucky, then awesome. They're like, yeah, this isn't my first rodeo or anything like that. I'm not looking for a person. I'm looking for the best person. You know what I mean? And that's the difference in the shift that I see a lot of times between small business owners and larger scale business owners. Is small business owners, it's like, I'm looking for a person. I'm looking for a vendor. Whereas larger business owners are saying, no, I'm looking for the best vendor. I'm looking that's delivering the best quality. So it makes it easier for everybody. I got to get into it. I want to get into the educational portion for sure, and we'll talk about that. But we're all car lovers here. Yeah. So, and obviously, I use my car and go to car shows, and you guys use your stuff. Have you received any hate due to the cars?
Oh, not at all.
No,
not at all.
no.
It's
Okay,
all
good.
been hate,
Perfect. Yeah, it's really it's a double-edged sword, man. Yeah. It's so crazy, and I think it's because how we'll call them bad actors. Some bad actors use the vehicles and rent vehicles and do some of these things to kind of flex and hype and stuff like that, but I've seen you guys at car shows, and I just want to put that out there. Like, you guys are all, you drive your cars. You guys are car lovers like I am. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, showing what you got a little bit and sharing that. Yeah. I think that's okay. I think you got to be tactful, but I think it's okay.
I mean, for me, it's more so of a hobby than like a marketing strategy or whatever.
It's part of your brand.
Yeah. Even though it's good for marketing, it's genuinely like a hobby. I feel like when we first started to grow the business, I was so focused on the business that I no longer had hobbies. And now I'm so blessed and grateful that I have found this one thing that really makes me truly happy as Christian, as a person, not as a business owner. You know what I mean? So I think that number one, of course it brings a ton of joy, but the hate, I receive already a lot of hate online. So to me, it didn't matter as much, but it was astounding the amount of people that absolutely hate on something that has nothing to do with their life. So, for example, my car is painted.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, yep.
It got 3 million views in the first 30 days.
It's insane.
And 90% of the comments are literally grilling me. The funniest things, even I was telling Amel, bro, go see these comments. These haters are specialists.
Yeah. It's it was so funny. And, you try not to let it get to you and stuff, but I mean, we're all human here. It was one of the, Andy Elliott is the guy's name. So one of his dudes posted something about drives a Charger or something like that. And he's like, I don't have a nice car because I think they're depreciating assets. So I commented on it and I was like, hey dude, I think you're something productive. I'm like, hey, I think you're looking at this kind of the wrong way. I've met so many amazing people and business owners and I've met clients as well. But the circle that I've been able to meet, it's like joining a country club, and the people that I've been able to talk to about their businesses and how they do things, it's not always just the sell. You know what I mean? Sometimes just getting advice and mentors and things like that, right? Dude, I commented that. I had 4 people comment ambulance chaser, daddy's money, all this. I'm like, dude, it was I wasn't even on my post. It was on somebody else's post. And I'm like, man, the internet is harsh. And so it's very interesting to see how these internet trolls, man, they're hardcore. So now that I said anything, I'm probably going to get 94 hate comments.
Oh, good.
But at least you're doing something. Because people are going to hate no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
But even the IA, to me, it was maybe financially not a smart decision, but I met Christian because of it, right?
Yeah.
I met Rob because of it. I met so many people because of IA, and IA was $55K. It's not even expensive, right?
And it wasn't 55 lost, meaning you sold it and got something else. You got part of your money back.
I got lucky with it because after COVID, it went up in value.
Yeah.
So I kind of like exited at the same price I bought it at. But then we had the Lambo, then we had the McLaren, then Christian got another Lambo, and then I got the G-Wagon. It's like all these cars, I think the cars are like a good shortcut to what you want to get to, either people or destination or whatever, because people will give you 2 seconds to listen to if you pull up with a car like that, you know?
The same thing with watches. Watches have been a conversation. I think cars in the last 10 years have like really blown up because I think they've just been more accessible. Watches have been a staple for, ever, 100 years, as far as having a nice timepiece. And, I think it's just a different way of having commonalities. And like I said, though, I think there is a tactful way. I think you guys are great with it. I think there's a tactful way to go about things. And then I think there's a less tactful way where you're just inviting the trolls to walk on.
Let me ask you this, because I know.
Please.
But what do you think about people wearing fake watches to get to the right room?
I think
we meet a lot of people that come with a fake watch. I'm like, is it better for them not to have a watch at all versus having a fake watch?
I judge them for not the reason that you think I would judge them for. And let me explain that, right? So you would think I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to judge that person. And judging is the wrong word, but whatever, it's the appropriate word at the time. I would have comments to make, not because they're wearing something fake, because they didn't do the research to get the value out of something that would be a conversation starter anyway. And let me say it this way, right? If you walk into a room and you're wearing fake Off-White or fake Loro Piana, and you're wearing a fake Rolex and this, that, and you're just like all over the place, rented car and stuff like that, whole deal, right? If you went and bought either a suit and got it tailored properly, or just wore a plain t-shirt and then went and you could go buy a 1980s Datejust tomorrow for probably between $2,000 and $3,000, nobody would ever say anything. You could go buy a Tudor or a Grand Seiko for less than $1,000 and nobody would say anything. Or I would go out and find the sickest watch that I could find from the 70s or 80s, a nice dive watch or something like that, and have a conversation piece and be like, yeah, I've always been into vintage watches. This is what I hope to acquire and things like that. It just shows that you're lazy and you're just taking shortcuts and you're not doing the proper research in order to make yourself valuable and provide value to other people. So I think the guy that walks in with I would give more respect, I guess, or more credence, not even I respect everybody, but more credence to somebody that walked in a plain black t-shirt and a 1980s Datejust than I would if they walked in a fake Rolex, a gold Rolex. That's what I would tell you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Let me ask you about this, because all three of us here like watches and we like the history and we love the mechanism and things like that and stories and all of that. Now, for someone that isn't in that tax bracket per se, don't you think that just not having research, maybe they don't like watches, right? Maybe they're just putting it on so that other people that do like watches like them. You know what I mean? So is it really like no research, or is it more so like, because like in my opinion, when I see that, I just cringe. Like I literally can't.
I think it just comes with I think that's a great question. I just think it comes with a lack of confidence. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think you're either not confident or you're lazy and you're not doing the research. And you should be able to walk into a room and know that you're the best at your craft, and the things that you're able to acquire are due to you being amazing at your craft, not because I'm just trying to fake it till you make it. I think fake it till you make it is the most backward statement. Yeah, fake it till you make it, in the fact of like, carrying yourself in a certain way, wearing nice things that you can afford and things like that. Mm-hmm. But wearing fake stuff and driving a rented car, and not to hate on it because I love Miami, but the Miami vibe and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
It's coming to Tampa, bro.
Like, yeah, no, it is. And I'll do one better to you. I have more respect, for lack of better terms, but more credence to the guy that makes $30,000 a month and saves 20 of it than the guy that makes $100,000 a month and spends 110.
I agree.
And that's the biggest flex at the end of the day. There's plenty of dudes that are like, I own this and I own that, and I got these cars and stuff like that. Show me your bank account, bro. Show me, I paid $700,000 on my Amex this month and all this. It's like,
hey, yo, who doing that?
Yeah, I'm like, no, but I've like seen those posts and stuff like that. And I'm like, how much you got left?
Yeah.
Like if you paid $700 on your Amex, and I watched the one guy, I forgot his name, but I watch his stuff all the time because he's a car guy as well. He's one of the big FBA Amazon guys or whatever. Okay. And he usually wears a hat, but he's got like darker features. Seems like a cool guy. He's got like 6 or 7 cars, like Ford GT. He's like early 30s.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And he goes through like he's like, I made like $600,000 last month on, FBA or whatever. He's crushing it, or, allegedly, of course. And he's like, here's my expenses for the month. He spent $70,000. I'm like, dude, that's, if that's legit, that's awesome. And who knows if it is or not. But those are the dudes that I think are doing it. The guys that are like, oh yeah, I just bought all this stuff and I made 100, but I spent 110. It's like, I would love you guys' opinion on this is the people that forget to pay themselves, meaning the people that just continually, I invested in my business. It's like, did you carve off anything for yourself? Did you save anything? It's like, if you invest in a business for 3 years and COVID hits, or God forbid, like, are you going to be able to survive? And I think the lack of financial literacy in young entrepreneurs is definitely very scary. So,
I mean, the biggest thing is like they're trying to live the lifestyle. They see this stuff on IG and they're like, if I am a business owner, I need to have these things. Because my thing is like, I came from Bosnia, we didn't have anything. So like, my mom always taught me like, she used to own like a Bosnian like coffee shop, so everything was in cash, and she would like allocate the cash like on a table and say, okay, this is for savings, this is for expenses, this is for like the fun, right? So like still to this day, like I always do that because you don't know. COVID can hit, everything can go to shit. We can get into the war and everything can go to shit. Like, I mean, we left Bosnia because of the war, right? We lost everything. And the only thing that like was important during war was like cash. And without cash, you couldn't leave the country. You couldn't buy like oil and water and nothing like that. So I still live in that fear. So I'm always like, all right, I need cash. Cash. Because also like, there's a point where I think sooner or later, maybe something happens with the business. Maybe we go out of business. Maybe we get tired of business. Who knows? I want to be able to live for the rest of my life without ever having to work again.
I think that's the ultimate goal. And I am critical to your point. I use Rocket Money. I am critical about like debt to income ratio, what I'm spending. I mean, I'm looking at it I made a little bit of content about it on it in the past about being the CFO of your own life. And I am a huge proponent of that, going through and auditing your personal life and your subscriptions and all that. And it's like, what do you mean it's $7.99 for whatever they charge for a Netflix subscription? And it's like, no. But you got Netflix, Amazon, HBO, Prime, like Hulu, you got like, which is probably all the crap I probably have. I got 2 kids, people, leave me alone. But it's probably all the crap I have at my house. But you got to audit your life, man. I mean, it's so important. And I think we've kind of hit on a little bit as well is talk about, scaling up properly, because you guys were like, we had the Huracan and then, or I had the i8 and then we had the McLaren. How important is that for young entrepreneurs to scale up properly?
I think when it comes to the cars, it's like whatever. Like I don't really care like what people do there. Like if someone has like a hobby or like actually likes cars and they want to allocate like a little bit more money to that because they actually enjoy it, like by all means, it's like their business. But when it comes to the business, I think that's like the most important is scaling up without becoming too fatty. So for us, our goal was like, hey, listen, I'd rather make $200K a month at like 50% margin than $1 million a month at 5% margin or 2% margin or whatever the math is. Because even if the number comes out to the same and we have a bigger company, like for us, it's a more headache. You know what I mean? How much more headaches per dollar are we making? And that's when we decided, hey, listen, like we're gonna scale slowly. Even though people look at me and Amal and they're like, oh my God, they blew up, right? It literally took so long. It took so much time when all these other people were having like an offer blow up. They make up $100,000 and then they shut down that offer because now they have 50% refunds. And now they have to go open another Stripe account and then they have to launch this other offer. Like we decided, hey, listen, let's just like build a business, like an ethical business that is reliable. We have recurring revenue and we have customers that literally love us and fight for us. You know what I mean? So like I was telling you, like we have clients that have been with us 4 or 5 years. So that's what we wanted to build. And I think once you have a reliable business, you can then say, okay, cool. Worst case scenario, I'm making X amount next month. So if I decide I want to go buy this watch, which I already have a nice watch, but I want to blow it on this extra watch, you can do that.
My thing is, and you touched on it, probably about 50%, and thank you all, of my clients come from prior clients. If that ratio ever goes down substantially, and it's probably more than that, but if that ratio ever goes down substantially, or you start losing your stable clients that have been with you for years, I think that's when that's a major red flag that you're doing something wrong. And for me, as far as my office and scaling on our end, the biggest thing that I've always told everybody that's the most important to me is office culture. You know, we're not going to have nonsense and drama and issues and things like that. You know, everybody's going to have good and bad days, and, you know, not everybody's going to love everybody and stuff like that. I get that. But we have an amazing culture at my office, and I think that's massive. I think culture is everything when you're scaling, because it's like if you just start plugging people in and plugging people in, it's the quickest way to lose control, to your point.
I mean, we've let people go even though they were good because they didn't fit our culture.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because it's more important, because like that good person is gonna screw up the energy of everyone else.
Correct.
And then like everyone takes a hit. So culture to us is literally everything.
I would rather you, and this is not my people that are watching this is not an invitation, but if you're having a bad day or an off day, I'd rather you go home after lunch and relax and chill and get some you time than to come in and bring that into the office. You know what I mean? Like, and that goes down to, you know, mental health and keeping a positive culture. I mean, we want you to be happy about being here, you know, a good portion of the time. Again, everybody has bad days, but at the end of the day, we want you to be, you know, excited for the most part about being here. Let's switch over, because I know we touched on it earlier. The agency, it's the Blueprint Agency, correct?
You got it right. It's the other way around.
Okay.
It's Agency Blueprint.
Agency Blueprint. I knew I was close.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you guys kind of got into the coaching and the educational platform. Where did that come from?
I think it comes naturally, because like people always DMing us like, hey, like I want to start an agency. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Hey, like I'm making 100K. How do I scale to 300K? Like, and naturally we were like, we can't answer everyone, especially because like that answer yields to another question that yields to another like.
Oh yeah, it's never
like,
ending.
You never end. So we're like, let's just build a community, and we went like the high tier, like one-on-one, like 5K a month, like let us really like dive into your business. And even that was taking too much time from us.
It's a lot.
So we're like, listen, let's build a community where everyone can help each other. We have 3 calls a week. It's literally $100 a month, cheap as hell.
You do 3 calls a week for $100 a month.
Yep.
I'm not just saying that to hype you guys up. Like that's
I know, it's crazy.
That's
It's
a
crazy.
lot.
It's an elite
I mean, meaning that's a lot of value for. I thought you were going to say you said it twice, I think, because I thought you were going to say 3 calls a month, and I'm like, oh, okay, dude, 3 calls a week is intense.
It's a lot, but
And
like
preparing, whew.
at least it's 1 hour that I dedicate, or Christian dedicates, or someone else dedicates to that call, versus doing one-on-ones, which is an hour each. And
Your day's gone.
say you have like 10 in a week that you have to like do, like it just doesn't make sense. So
And you're doing them either early in the morning before everybody works, lunchtime, dinner time, or in the evenings. Yeah, I get it.
okay, they get value from us, but our goal is to help the community work together.
Are you doing it on
like,
school, or are you doing it?
We use Discord.
Okay, cool.
It's through WAP, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
sign up, and then it goes on Discord. And like what I like seeing is how people are merging companies and resources. So a lot of people ended up like merging. Okay, this guy's good at sales, this guy's good at marketing, and let's combine our strategies. But our personal value out of that is building our own clients that we will acquire later on. So like we just acquired our first marketing company. He was the second person to sign up for our coaching program.
You acquired their agency.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
So he did it for a year. The good thing is when they implement all our SOPs, all our services, like everything that we do,
Wow.
it's such an
Okay.
easy
Yeah.
integration.
Yeah.
Because literally,
You're ready. Come on over.
I mean,
Come on
we
over.
took on their team, and it was like so seamless. Literally
Yeah.
within a week, like we don't need to teach them
There's
anything.
no training. Yeah.
So-
you already did.
That's like our goal, because like our goal is to acquire more agencies
Mm-hmm.
this year, next year, and so forth. So
I mean, it took more time to create their emails than to actually like even negotiate the contract.
Yeah, that's funny.
This is how much people are literally like, hey guys, like I trust you, like you guys crush it, like you helped me grow. I'm kind of burnt out right now. Can we work together?
Nice.
That's
Perfect.
It's like, yeah, it's an acquisition model. It's less about coaching. So because people always ask us like 99, like for this much value, like you guys are crazy. Like that's the the worst business model for you. It's
Well, that's what
great.
Hermosi's doing. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of what he's doing with school and stuff like that, and he has access to all these different, channels and things. I mean, so it makes it very easy to start acquiring these people. So one question that I ask a lot of my guests, and I'll ask each of you with an example. So when did you feel successful? And for me, it was when I could go and go out to dinner, like a real dinner. Like, in Tampa, we have the meat markets and the rows and the nicer places and stuff like that. I could order anything I wanted and I could take all my friends. When did you guys feel successful?
Yeah, so when I first partnered with Amal, the number for me that I wanted to really hit was 10K a month, which is pretty normal. Every human being goes through that. And even though after I hit 10K a month, I still didn't feel successful. So it kept going up and up and up and up. And then it stopped mattering. And like the number stopped to matter. So the number I thought was going to be associated with a dollar amount, but it was less about that and more about the stress level being at peace, So when I realized hey, listen, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to sleep, and it's all going to be okay. That's when I was like, oh shit, I'm successful. And I realized it after it happened, because I was so comfortable in the peace that I was in that I didn't realize oh shit, I hit the level that I've always wanted to. Because even if you go back and watch content from me and Amel 4 or 5 years ago, the one thing I used to say all the time is the reason I work so hard is because I'm never going to be broke again. And at that piece, my brain no longer thought that. It was not even a thought. So that to me was when I hit that elite tier of, hey, brother, you made it, pat on the back. Now work to achieve more things, but don't worry, you got it.
I agree. Because I think the true value that we should aspire to is having options in life. When you have options, I feel that's when you're successful. Those options could be either money related or time related or location located related. So to me, it was the fact where I just had a baby. So I was like, hey mom, I want you to come help us for a year. I don't want your work, and be able to do that, right? Being able to tell my girl she doesn't have to work for that year, or being able to move things around and maybe even take 2 months off and work from home. And Christian was holding it down for me when I was just at the house with the baby, at the beginning stages. So to me, that is success, because you can make millions a month, $1 million a month, but are you truly successful? Are you stressing? Are you taking anything home? Are you happy? Is your family happy? Stuff like that. So to me, it was just having those options where it's whatever I need to do, I have options.
Absolutely. No, I agree with both those things. And a lot of times, especially when you're sitting with financial advisor or friends and things like that, it's to your point, what's your number? What do you want to make a month? What do you want to be worth? What do you want to make a year and stuff? And as you, I think, go down the path of entrepreneurship and business, it very much becomes less about the money and more about quality of life. And I think when you lose that quality of life, money takes a significant backseat. So yeah, no, I agree with you guys completely. I think it's so important to maintain perspective and not let the money and the crap get to you and affect you. Can I go to the gym in the morning without getting 19 emails? Can I go have dinner with my significant other and everything's okay? I don't have to jump on a client call. Those things are really the most important that you don't even realize until you're sometimes years into business. So tell me what the future looks like. I think you kind of touched on it. Looks like for you guys as far as GenTech and the agency blueprint.
I mean, our goal is to keep on scaling. I think we have a legit company. I don't know if we're the biggest, the best, in Florida and Tampa, whatever, because what do you really measure that by? But I think we are, and I think we built something that we're proud of. I think everyone that hears about us, no one ever says anything bad. And we just want to keep that reputation. We want to make people money. Because the good thing with marketing is I feel like we have access to money, because you can run paid ads and you can change people's lives. And
Yeah.
That's nice. Like we get small businesses like.
Oh, you run the right
day.
ad. It's like it could be a light switch.
I mean, we had one person, a dog trainer, 3 years ago, joined our team as a client. She was making 10K a month. She was like, hey, I want to make 30. We got her 60K. And like, that changed her life, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm happy with 60K. Like, just keep me at that baseline and I'm good. And then we have people like Insurance Elevator, right? He was, barely doing like 100K a month when he came to us. And then we got him to 4 mil. But like, we didn't just change his life. 700 agents work under him and we help change all their lives, right?
Yeah, Eric's crushing.
So like those are things that we like to see because we kind of change our life. We want to change other people's life, either through GenTech or HC Blueprint, where we just want to like impact as many people as we can. Because everyone says like, oh, like I have like the secret sauce. Like I don't believe in secret sauces, but I think we failed enough to see what works and what doesn't. So if I can help you not fail, either save you time or money, I'd rather share that knowledge.
And you say that. And I'll say similar to my business as well. I think you do have the secret sauce, but it's not the secret sauce that is like, oh, if you put this keyword in your ad, you will scale to the moon. No, I think the secret sauce comes down to two things: transparency and knowledge. That's what I'm here to do. Like, and I tell clients that all the time. I'm not here to tell you what to do or anything like that with your case. I'm here to give you options based on my experience. You do whatever you want with them, and I'm completely okay with that. I work for you. But I think that's where the secret sauce comes from, is those two attributes of transparency and knowledge. And then I think mixed with the passion as well is the complete package. But I think that's where you guys touch on it. It's so true. Where you're going to run into problems is, hey, that $10,000 that you're giving, air quote, $10,000 a month, I'm going to turn that into 30. And it's like, really, you could, but, or maybe you don't. I need some free advice from you guys. So for the viewers though, because you said, you guys typically take larger scale clients. And I think that's a lot of people are heading toward that way. So say, mom and pop business that's doing $10,000 a month or, $5,000 a month, and they're just getting started out. They really can't allocate a lot toward marketing, right? Say they only had $500 a month to allocate, toward marketing. We would all agree they would be better off kind of figuring that out themselves. What would you suggest for them to do with that $500 a month?
Definitely not paid ads.
I agree.
Definitely not paid ads. Paid ads is literally like fuel. Like if there is no fire, fuel is not doing anything. In fact, it's just going to smell bad.
That's a great way of putting that. Yeah.
So what I would suggest, mom and pop shops, like just try to get what we call super fans in through the door. So like every single customer that comes there needs to have the most phenomenal experience they've ever had in their entire life with that specific type of business. Because like you built your business and like we built ours, it's on referrals. It's on providing a good service. And then once they're actually like a legitimate business, people know a little bit about who they are. You don't need to be the best of the best, but at least when you know that, okay, cool, my customers love me because of the good service I provide and not because I am the business owner, then you run paid ads.
And we're talking about small businesses here, and I actually made a video on this before, and I would love you guys' opinion. What scares me with small businesses is when you get some of these marketing gurus, we'll call them, that'll come in and they got a small business mom and pop, and they're like, we're going to take this over and $5,000 or $10,000 for a website, and we're going to run $5,000 a month in paid ads, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And it's like, no, like you said, it's just giving a quality experience and scaling properly. And I feel so bad for these small businesses that, spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to try to compete with the big boys. And it was like, you never had the run rate to even do that. Like this was, you didn't even have the funds to see this through. So I hope people really see that and understand that, don't, walk before you run, and don't go spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars thinking, the light switch is going to go on, because it is fuel at the end of the day. It's supposed to complement what you already have, not, be the origination, for lack of better terms.
The problem we see is that most smaller business owners, they really do truly believe that their business is perfect and they are perfect and they are like the best thing ever made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. The confidence. Yeah, of course.
So that's the problem. Like, I think like a whole transition and level of growth comes from entrepreneurship when you realize like you're dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Like you have so much more to go. Like no matter
I think
how
I read
good
that
you are.
somewhere. So no, I'm just kidding. Just,
Yeah, right.
Did Buffett say that? No, there's like different, I remember in law school them talking about this, and there's like different levels of consciousness, subconsciousness versus consciousness, and I'm going to butcher this, but it's like, you don't know what you don't know. You know what you don't know. You know what you know. Like there's like 3 or 4 different levels and stuff like that. And I think people actually start in the reverse where they think they know everything. And I think it comes down to the point where you don't know what you don't know, or you know what you don't know. I think they're never going to be able to grow. And it's like, people, are often like, when you start a business, oh, it's my business and, I'm going to do this. And it's like, well, did you talk to this person? Did you talk to this person? Did you get some input here? Did you get some input there? They're so set on, taking over the world that I think they miss the trees for the forest. So I think there's a lot of free advice out there and a lot of great ways to grow your business, but please don't go and spend thousands of dollars on paid ads with people that are not being transparent with you, because that's very scary.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff you guys can learn on YouTube, because like the beginning stages, like if you have $500, like you can't really make a lot of damage, especially if you got to pay someone to run those ads. Like the budget is like completely gone. So the way I look at it is truly like fitness, right? You can measure results because you can look at yourself, you can step on a scale, you can kind of like see if you're improving or not. And I think most people aren't looking in the mirror and they're not stepping on a scale. The scale is the bank account, like P&Ls, and looking in the mirror is actually seeing if you're like progressing or not. And then it's like, okay, I'm not losing weight. Let me buy a book. Let me go on YouTube. Well, how can I lose weight? And then there's so many like attributes to business, because even with marketing, like people will like hire us for marketing and say, well, you guys are going to grow my business. Like, no, we're not. We're going to help you with this specific thing. There's also your branding. There's also your reputation. There's also your sales. There's also your...
if you have 20 negative Google reviews and 40 reviews, it doesn't matter how many ads I run.
I mean, there's so many things that are attributed to growing a business where like people need to understand that. And the bigger you are, the more you understand it, the more you hire specialty like people to manage those departments.
When you, and to what you're saying, so say, for example, you're running Meta ads, are you coaching people on if they have access to the account, what they're posting in addition to what you're posting?
So posting is whatever to us, because like our posts are technically just ads. It's not going on their like actual account. What we coach is everything's related to ROI. So what's related to ROI? Booking the appointment, closing the deals, and so forth. So what we do coach is, okay, we're sending all the leads to their CRM. Are you guys working them? Why is it taking you 2 days to call the leads? Let's call them within 5 minutes, right? All right, they're hopping on the meeting. What's going on in the meeting? I see your close rate is like 5%, right? How do we get that to 25%?
So it's a much larger integration.
100%.
Yeah.
But we'll coach them, but we won't close the deals for you, right? Because like our focus is this, but like we got to make sure that you're making money, because like if you're not making money, you're going to cancel with us anyways, right? So our account managers are trained to scale businesses on the sales side.
I've talked to other people about that as well, and people can get 1,000 leads, but if they're not closing them or they're not making money from them, what does it really matter? And on top of that, you could be overpaying for leads, meaning if you're getting 1,000 and you're only talking to 200, why are you spending all that money to get 1,000 leads? Or why are you not scaling your business in order to figure out, are these, can I get 400 or 500, et cetera? So I think there's so much out there now. It's just like leads. And it's like, no. It's not only about the touches and the inbound. It's, are you able to close them as well? Do you have the people in place to close the deals? And I think that's huge. And I think that's what a lot of other agencies probably miss out on, because it's like, here's 1,000 leads, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, they did their job to an extent, but it's like, if they're not making any money from it, where's the longevity?
Because that's the thing with paid ads is only the process of making like data-driven decisions. So to Amel's point, like the reason we want to only like also coach them on that process is to also get the feedback from that process. Because if we don't have feedback on where the conversions are coming from, where the conversations are coming from, we can only optimize for cost per lead, which to your point is irrelevant. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So that's the whole point. That's where people fail, is marketing companies, they only focus in the ad account. They're like, hey, let me just like
look at how many eyeballs I got you.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
isn't this amazing?
Yeah,
it's like you had, 2 million views, and it's like, yeah, I got three phone calls.
Yeah.
So super cool. What do you think about, you see a lot of accounts out there with like fake likes, fake comments. Like, how can you kind of weed through that as far as, what you're getting is real and what you're getting is not?
I think you know what's real and what's not if it's your account.
I was going to say,
yeah, because you can tell by the comments, stuff like that.
I've even seen some of our favorite influencers, and I'm like, that looks a little awkward. Yeah,
I think a lot of people have
a very awkward noise in addition to that.
They have a lot of fake comments and fake likes, especially the bigger the influencer. I feel like they have more of these just to like make stuff look even bigger. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, they can hurt your brand, but that's on them. Like, we don't focus on that part because we just want to focus on revenue. Whatever you do on the branding side, it is what it is. Yeah. It's kind of like that fake watch that we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, should you just come with $1,000 watch versus try and fake a $40K watch? Because sometimes I'd rather see authentic content. And if I like the content, even if you have 5 comments, I'm like, I like this guy. Versus,
or they have 10,000 followers and 500 likes. It's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? If they have 10,000 followers and 4,000 likes, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I think also like a lot of things into accounts, like obviously there are people that have been in the space, like for example, us 3 that can go into an account and be like, okay, cool. Like this is bought, this is not bought, whatever. But I think the massive thing when it comes to this is realizing that like, it doesn't matter. Like all of that doesn't matter. Like initially when we first started, we were like, hey, listen, we need to grow our accounts, do this, post twice a day. So we literally posted twice a day for 2 years straight. We felt like the return was significantly less than if we just put that money into ads, right? Building a pod, having someone post the reels, someone edit the reels, someone writing the caption, all that stuff. So we decided to actually archive our entire account. So Amal was at 1,000 posts. I was like at 850. And we archived our entire account. I personally like the way my account's set up right now a lot more. I feel like it looks a lot more credible. Yeah. Even though I do miss the fact that like you can see the timestamps on the posts. But I think everybody can build their business the way they want it, because that's the beauty of being a business owner. You get to mold it around your lifestyle.
As soon as I started sharing stuff about my family, and which I'm very proud of, and I'm very proud of my wife and my kids, and my real, things I'm doing, and going to normal restaurants, and, getting barbecue and, on Sundays and stuff like that. Actually, note to self, or just so you guys know, a lot of barbecue restaurants in Tampa are not open on Sundays. But just like doing normal everyday things, and posting about normal everyday struggles. I think a lot of people, like when I started talking about when I did 75 hard and posted that, I mean, the engagement I got from that was like ridiculous. Like it was absolutely insane. And I think when you can identify with your audience, I think your credibility, to your point, goes through the roof. When you're posting all that fake crap, or trying to flex, overly flex, I guess I'll say, I don't think people really vibe with that. I think you just get a bunch of hate, to be honest with you.
People got to be able to relate. That's why even like my YouTube channel, it's super raw. Like, yeah, we make all this money. We have all the cars and watches, but I just want you to see my regular life, because like people need to be like, oh, I'm just like him. So if he can do it, I can do it. Because when you project yourself too much, if you have a coaching program, whatever, they'll say, well, I'll never be like him. Like he's on a different level. But everyone's human. Like you grab barbecue, like you chill with your family, you go take walks like in the park or whatever, downtown Tampa. And people do that too. And then they're like, oh, he's human too. And I actually want to work. I need a lawyer. I want someone that's human, right?
It's going to pick up the phone and I can have a real conversation with. Yes. And I think that was, where a lot of things took off even over the last couple of years. It's like, people tell me about their kids and their grandkids and what they're going through. And, one lady went on this was like 2 weeks ago, very sweet client. She went on for 20 minutes about how frustrated she was with her roof. And I talked to her and I felt horrible for her and I genuinely did. And, but people feel comfortable sharing their problems and then, they feel taken care of and we get them a great result and then they refer other people. And that's what it's all about. Tell me when you guys see somebody running their own ads, what are some of the biggest mistakes that they make?
I feel like they run way too few of them.
Okay.
So the problem with ads is the balance is between winners and testing. And when you first launch, obviously you want to do a lot of testing, but people get caught up and just keep testing. Sometimes you have to say, stop the testing, these two ads are really, really good with this one audience. Let me put them in a different campaign by themselves and give them their own budget so that I actually start reaping the rewards from the ads.
Okay.
Because if you just launch like one ad, first of all, you put all your eggs in one basket. If you launch 100 ads, you have no basket.
Yeah.
So like, it's all about that balance and that finesse. And even if we can't see the numbers on the back end, I can go into someone's ad account and be like, oh, they're running 4 ads. Like, that's just wrong. You know what I mean? Like, there is no correct campaign with 4 ads. It's just, there's no. So like, it's just like little things like that. And then obviously with the copy, there's a lot of things that people make as mistakes. They write the copy for them. They don't write the copy for the other person.
Got it. Yeah. And I see, as I started researching more about like hooks and, script time and all these different things that like go into, the formula. There's a lot to it, and that is very true. You'll see some ads, the differences between the good ones and the bad ones. It's like, have you been in an accident? You better treat in 14 days. And everybody's like, nobody cares. Like nobody, and I tell other lawyers all the time, I was like, when I see that like 14-day no fault rule of treating, I was like, nobody even knows what that means. Like nobody has any clue unless you're an attorney. But if you're like, have you been in an accident? I've been doing this X amount of years. I've helped this many people. I've recovered this amount, et cetera, and I'm always available. Here's my cell phone number. Obviously, you're going to get a much better ROI than giving them needless legal information that they don't need and don't care about. So,
I agree.
I feel like your business is also very specific. It's a need. It's not a want.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And people are not always in the business of doing business with you.
No, not at all.
So that's why I think for you, it's nice to position yourself as the expert and then let people do the decision making.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's very, there's so many options in our business, and it's, to your point, it's, being top of mind. So a lot of our, we may be running, you may be seeing me for 2 or 3 years, and I've had plenty of clients being like, oh yeah, I've been following you on, Instagram for 2 years or 3 years, and I finally got in a car accident and I knew who to call, So that's a lot of our business, rather than, trying to sell a widget and, I see the ad, that's the one I want. Yeah. So, but you guys are absolutely crushing it. I cannot thank you all enough for taking the time today. Where can they find you guys at? Where can our audience find you?
I mean, personal accounts, Amel IG, christianjamal. GenTech account is GenTechMarketing, but like our website is the best place. And we follow the 5-minute rule as well. So whoever reaches out will respond within 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. And if you have an agency and you want to get on these amazing coaching calls for $100 a month, which is, I still think you guys are out of your minds, but.
So it's wap.com/agency-blueprint.
Okay, got it. And we'll make sure we link that below, but thank you guys again for coming in and doing this. So appreciate you.
Thank you for having us,
and appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
And it is no accident, as we always end this. It is no accident. These two gentlemen here are successful. Shout out to GenTech. Make sure you guys follow them on social. And then my producer always yells at me, so I'm going to get your attention right now. Make sure you make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We want to grow this thing, and we love marketing and showing off the people that are crushing it in Tampa Bay. So love you guys. Be good. Thanks, guys.